Hello, and welcome to Pelicus Videos. Today's episode we're going to be talking about The Walking Dead, Season 3, Episode 15, which is called This Sorrowful Life. And this video is going to be my review on it. Now, if you haven't watched the video, it's probably best for you to pause the video, watch it, and then come back, or something like that. Or you can stay if you want to, but there will be spoilers, like from the get-go, essentially. Okay, so overall, what I thought about this episode was that it was one of my favourite characters in this, probably my favourite character in the whole series is probably Mel Dixon, and this was a really good episode about him. And so it starts off with Rick, Daryl, and Herschel are all talking about what to do in regards to Michonne, and they need Mel's help because he's like essentially their enforcer, and he's willing to get the dirty jobs done. So they go. So he eventually, it's most of it's about him. Just like most of the people in the group don't like him, they're scared of him. And Daryl was talking to Glenn about Mel apologizing, but he cares more about Maggie. And then so then Mel decides to do it himself and takes Michonne sort of hostage essentially, or at least captures her and ties her up. Which I thought was a really good part was he used the phone wire to the phone cord as like wire to tie her up, which was the same phone that Rick used in when he went crazy, which is quite good because I like that kind of progression, that like an object going through episodes, which was the same thing that happened in with the axe that they used. I can't remember who has it first. I think they pick it up in the first episode. They pick it up at the house they're in, and then they take it to the prison, and then Oscar ends up having it in episode 2, and then Andrew finds in episode 4, uses it to try and kill Rick, and then Rick uses it in episode 5 to just annihilate those walkers, which I really liked seeing the axe throughout the whole thing. And then the same thing happens with his phone, I guess. And he then decides to so he takes Michonne alone by car, and Rick sees Laurie again. No surprise there, really. And seeing her sort of makes him realise that this is not who he is, so he decides not to do it. And he tells the group about it, and I think Daryl goes off after them, after Merle and Michonne, to try and stop him. And Rick sort of backtracks on what he said at the end of season 2 when he was saying this is not a democracy anymore. He's now saying we should vote on if we should leave the prison or not, which makes a bit of sense because you don't want to have all these people's lives in your hands when you know you're going to lose in this upcoming impending war, essentially. And then so there's all that stuff going on, which is not that interesting. But then Michonne and Mel, their travels are quite good. Mel's armed to the teeth because he's got what he's got is obviously his bayonet hand, which is really cool. He's got his gun, his pistol, he's got an assault rifle, and he's got Michonne's sword as well. And you see him take down some walkers really easily, having fun with the sword, using his left hand, which I'm assuming he was not that proficient with in terms of melee weapon, because I'm assuming his right hand was his main hand, as seen in the when he first appears in season 1. And there's a really good part where he's trying to get this car starting, and he sets off an alarm, and walkers start swarming the area, and Michonne manages to slit one's throat using the wire by sort of running around a post type thing, and then she's shouting for Mel because he can't hear because of the alarm. I really thought he was going to actually get bitten then, but he managed to stop it, and then they keep going, and he decides that he sort of knows that the governor's going to come. Like earlier, he was talking about what he's telling Rick what the governor would do to Michonne, and he knew that would happen essentially. So he ends up cutting her loose and letting her go, and we see he's at like some kind of gas station or something, and he's drinking alcohol and he's like having fun, like sort of trying to give the walkers a drink, and he turns the music up. I can't remember what song it was, but it was a really good song anyway. So it turns up to full volume and just like slowly like lowers the walkers, brings the walkers with him, which I thought was really good. It's another aspect of like people using aspect like the abilities of walkers that can find them, using them against them, such as the smell and sight, I guess, in guts when they're walking, when they're covered in all the guts essentially, and they're walking like a zombie, and that works. And then there's also in the same episode how Glenn uses the car alarm to lure walkers away from shopping mall. But I really like that sort of use of tactics. And so Daryl sees Michonne just finishing off of walkers. I think the head of the zombie that Mel cuts off using her sword. Mel's given back Michonne his sword by now, and she goes back to the prison, and we see Rick sees her. I thought it was really good that Rick managed to see her, just like he's looking around, not through binoculars or anything. He sees something moving in the distance, and he brings his gun up, and it happens to be Michonne. He's got pretty good vision to see for someone that sees things. He's got pretty good vision that something's wrong. It's like something in the distance is moving, which was similar to what happened to Andrea in the previous episode. How he almost saw her. And then so Mel continues, and it goes. It was really good. I wasn't even sure what was going to happen really when Mel showed up at the place where the governor met Rick in episode 13, and it was really good how he lured the walkers there, and then the governor shows up with all his men, expecting Rick to show up with Michonne, and they start shooting at the walkers, and then Mel quite cleverly hides in the building and shoots at them, takes out a couple of guys, takes out some random guy. I think he takes out the son of Alan, Ben, who was in the in prison with Tyrese's group, which would be interesting to see if Alan like reacts to that or anything. Kills a couple of people, and then he has this really good part where he has his scope sort of trained on, and his aim at the governor, and he almost is about to kill him, and then a walker appears next to him, and he has to fight that. And unfortunately, he fights it, and it comes out of the he knocks it out of like a door, which I thought was really good. How that happened, and then Martina shows up and beats him up, and then the governor appears. And what's really brutal was when the governor bites his fingers off, which I thought, how is he going to come back from that now with essentially half of a hand? But I didn't think the governor would let him leave then. So and then the governor shoots him, and it was a really good ending when Daryl walks up, and you see all these dead bodies on the ground, and you see some walkers eating them. And I really thought Mo would be one of the zombies on the ground, well, sorry, one of the bodies on the ground being eaten. But it turned out he was actually a walker, and Michael Rooker is such a brilliant actor, and he probably plays one of the best walkers in the show because of his eyes and his mannerisms and his movements, especially as he's got the bayonet hand as well. He's probably the most dangerous walker around. And it was really a really emotional scene with Daryl, and that was really good. It showed sort of Daryl's, because Mel did it for Daryl essentially because the main threat to Daryl's life was the governor, and he knew he couldn't stay at the prison, and he couldn't be with his brother, so he sort of sacrificed himself. It's a shame he didn't kill the governor, but then if he did, this series would be over then. There would be one really weird episode, and there were probably other people that should kill the governor, probably Andrea, Tyrese, or Michonne, or Rick, one of those people. but it was a really good thing, and Norman Reedus did that scene really well when he showed his like essentially heartbroken. And in conclusion, I guess the episode was really, really good. And if you haven't seen it yet, you should probably check it out. If you have seen it, let me know what you think in the comments, and let me know what you think is going to happen in the season finale, which I'll be doing a prediction video on, which should be out tomorrow or something. So I suppose I should probably give the episode a score out of 10, and I would probably say 9 out of 10 is one of the best episodes of the season. One of the best episodes of the whole series, really. Season 3 has been so good. Pretty much almost every single episode has been really good. Previous episode 14 was amazing. That's probably one of my favourite episodes. And episode 30 was quite slow, and I know I've got a couple of people that have sort of got bored of it now because they don't think that much is going to happen to the end. But so much has happened last episode and the one just. So I'm really looking forward to the season finale. So as always, let me know what you think, and remember to like the video, comment and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next Pegasus videos.